Today, I'm going to share with you the biggest mistake I see business owners making when it comes to marketing on Pinterest. I am Emily Bales. I'm a former teacher turned Pinterest marketing and ad strategist. And for the past 4 years, I've helped my clients and my students increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. So this mistake that I see business owners making, it breaks my heart, because not only is it a mistake, but it causes them to give up on the platform before they've really been able to see results. And this mistake that business owners are making is actually pretty simple. They are giving up on Pinterest too soon. That's it. They essentially are not seeing through what Pinterest can really do for them. And I think what happens is business owners, they have this excitement and this high hopes that Pinterest is going to be this amazing platform that really works in the background. It doesn't take as much heavy lifting as social media. And yes, all of those things are true, but it is quite different than social media. And with that comes patience and really what's going to require persistence with the platform. You see, Pinterest takes time to index your content because it is a search engine. It takes time for Pinterest to understand who you are, what type of content you're sharing and creating, and then in result, who to show that content to. So when business owners start marketing on the platform, they will be, let's say, marketing for a week or 2 weeks or maybe even a month. And they are kind of frustrated when they're not seeing the results they want to. I literally just received an email yesterday where somebody emailed me and they were like,
Emily, your last free live training was amazing.
And I started implementing what you recommended during the training, and I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm not yet seeing all of the results that I wanted to just yet. And I was so excited that they were implementing what I have recommended or what I did recommend. However, what kind of pained me was that in the grand scheme of things, 1 month is nothing. So what I like to share is I like to compare Pinterest to Google because they are both search engines. Now, if you are a business owner who just started your blog and you have all these amazing blog posts that you are writing and that you're going to start publishing, would you expect to rank on the first page of Google as soon as you started your blog? Probably not. That would be really unrealistic. It takes time. You have to build up that SEO. You have to put in the work. And once you do start ranking on Google, guess what? That is huge for your business. But it's one of those things that you know it'll be worth it in the long term. And so you're willing to put in the time for what is essentially going to be the reward for that consistency and really that snowball effect it creates for your business with the traffic. And then obviously once you get people to your website, you're getting traffic from Google or Pinterest, then you can start turning that traffic into sales. But it all has to come from that place of having the strategy and then also the consistency. So to reiterate, you have to be consistent. So I want to break this down into really 2 different parts. And the part 1 being you have to be consistent, and then part 2 being with that consistency, you also have to have a really clear and defined strategy for what you're actually going to do with that traffic. So let's go back to part 1 now with building that consistency. I want you to kind of reframe your mindset and just plan and set that intention right now that when you start marketing on Pinterest, you are going to start thinking about it taking at least 3 to 6 months to see growth. Really, more realistically, would probably be 6 to 12 months to see growth. Now, when you are thinking about, okay, so if I'm gonna, wait to see growth, how much growth should I expect? I always recommend looking for 2 to 5% growth month over month. Now, I know that might not sound like a lot, but think about when you start marketing and you continue to market on Pinterest and you're doing that month over month, year over year, then that growth really starts to compound. And like I mentioned, you start to see that snowball effect, which is amazing. However, as you do start to see that 2 to 5% growth month over month, you're driving the traffic and you're increasing the traffic with Pinterest, but Pinterest is a traffic driver. So this is where we go into part 2. So part 1, you have to be consistent, you have to give it time. That's just the nature of Pinterest. For part 2, in order to see the results that you want to from Pinterest, you need to have a strategy for what you're gonna do with that traffic. So Pinterest is a traffic driver. You can't make people buy once they get to your website or your product, but you can have a very clear strategy for what you're doing with that traffic. So maybe some of your pins you do direct to your products, but then maybe some of your pins are directed to a blog post or a YouTube video or some type of nurture content where you can do something else with that traffic and you can start to build that relationship with that person, so that if they aren't ready to buy, then you are, like I said, nurturing them and getting them to a point where you're sharing value, building that relationship, and then ultimately you can sell to them. So sometimes people need a little bit more time to think about it. Maybe they're even doing some research. And so it's really powerful to have another way to capture that person that you are essentially being discovered by on Pinterest. So that's why I really recommend not just always sending your traffic directly to products, because if somebody's not ready to buy in that moment, yes, they can save the pin for later, which shows a high intent, but it's just so powerful to get people on your email list. So like I mentioned, it breaks my heart when people feel like Pinterest doesn't work. And I think that people feel that way because of this multi-layer where they haven't given it time, and maybe they also don't even really have a clear strategy for what they're going to do with that traffic. And it's one of those things where if you're just driving traffic and it's not converting into sales, then of course people aren't going to be happy with Pinterest, because we all are marketing on platforms so that we can ultimately make money, right? Now, your more clear objective for Pinterest might be gathering leads. A lot of business owners use Pinterest to build leads, but ultimately we're on the platform, especially if we're not a big brand like Target or Peloton, but we're on the platform to ultimately get sales. And we have to see that return on the investment, whether we be outsourcing or we're spending our time, which our time is money. So that's why it's important to have those foundations and a really clear strategy in place prior to starting to market on the platform. But I would say hands down, those two things, the number one really biggest mistake is just giving up on Pinterest too soon. So some people don't even get to the point where they're seeing traffic, maybe not sales yet, because they haven't even given Pinterest enough time to really even build up that traffic. So I've had clients where they could have gone from maybe 5 to 10 outbound clicks, which would be, people directly leaving Pinterest to go to their website the first month. And then by like month 3, they're already to 30 people going to their website from Pinterest. And you can see how, going from 5 to 30, that's an exponential increase, but they are not super happy because they are expecting even more than that. But it's one of those things that you have to give it time. So I can't stress that enough. And I wanted to share this episode because whether you are interested in one of my free guides or my course, if you don't have these proper expectations, then it's going to be a bit of a letdown. And it's so funny. Somebody reached out to me on social media that we've been in contact a lot, and she said,
Emily, I'm seeing great results from Pinterest.
She's never even bought anything from me, but she just did what I told her to for a period of time. For like 3 months, she was creating video content consistently on Pinterest when she hadn't been creating video content previously, and guess what? It started working for her, but she was consistent. So with Pinterest, you have to have that entrepreneur mindset where Rome wasn't built in a day. Your business isn't going to just explode overnight. You're just not going to become an overnight millionaire. And if you have figured that out, then please comment on this video and let me know how you became an overnight millionaire, because entrepreneurship is not winning the lottery. It takes massive action, consistency, and Pinterest is the same way. You know that it's worth it long term, and you have to have that bigger picture mindset, and that you know that the day-to-day can be challenging, but it's going to be worth it long term. And the reason why Pinterest is worth it is because there is a different user intent. Shoppers literally spend 2 times more on Pinterest than they do other platforms. People have this need and desire to solve their problems. And like I said, you're really capturing people in a different mindset. You're capturing a different audience. And I just also think about saving time. You can do your Pinterest in 60 to 90 minutes 1 day a week. You can let go of the daily hustle. So if you can't see, I feel very passionate about you staying consistent, not giving up, and being okay with it taking 3 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months. But my clients who are making, and I do have clients who make $5,000 to $10,000 a month just from their Pinterest traffic. Some of them are teachers pay teacher sellers. They sell digital products that are very low priced, and obviously if they are making that much from their Pinterest traffic and they're selling low priced digital products, they are receiving a lot of traffic and volume. And those people, those teachers, those clients of mine, they have been marketing on Pinterest not for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Some of them have been marketing on Pinterest for 4 or 5 years. And so it still works. It's still a really powerful platform. And I believe it was, I'm trying to think of the increase, 463 million monthly users, and it increased like 7% in Q2 of this year to 468 million, some crazy number. The people and the users are continuing to increase, and Pinterest is still doing very well. They're public, they have skin in the game. It's not going anywhere. So this was a little bit different than my typical YouTube episodes, but as you can tell, I feel very passionate about you not giving up on Pinterest. So whether you attend one of my free live trainings, if you buy one of my workshops, if you ever buy one of my courses, just know that what I'm teaching you, it is not a pipe dream. It is a process that is proven to work, but it's not gonna work overnight. So even if you do it for a month and you're like,
Okay, I might have seen a little growth. I don't know about the Assembly Girl or the advice she's giving.
you haven't given it long enough. And I'm very transparent about that with my students and with my clients. And the people who understand that value are the people who are making a lot of money on Pinterest. So this was my Pinterest pep talk to kind of reiterate everything. The biggest mistake I see business owners making is just not giving Pinterest enough time. And kind of what leads into the part 2 of that is you have to give it time, but then you also have to have a clear strategy so that once you have given it time and you are getting traffic, you know how to convert that traffic. So I would love for you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, because that is so helpful for me. I am working to build this channel so that I can continue to serve you week over week. I do have a free Pinterest strategy guide. I would love for you to check that out. It's going to give you 7 steps that you can follow today to get started on Pinterest. I think it's going to be super helpful. And right now the doors are closed to Pinterest Marketing Magic, which is my signature course. But if you want to jump on the waitlist, it is going to be opening soon, and I can't wait to share more about that. So like I said, be sure to like this episode. Let me know in the comments what questions you have, and I can't wait to see you soon in next week's episode. Bye for now.